right, welcome to the fourth and final game of the evening. It's called Teenage Blob. So let me see. Okay, where to start on this? I suppose the title is accurate in that you are a teenager who also happens to be a blob of unspecified substance. I mean, in fact, the first game or the first track ha- what they propose is a mini game. I find that dubious, but it's you get yourself out of bed, you um, get yourself into a humanoid shape, and then you do a bit of avatar customization, and then you go talk to your parental unit. And are you going to be a respectful blob or a sassy blob? No joke. That is the first game or track New Year because so I'm going to be upfront. This game is more interesting as a concept than as a game because this is a weird collaboration between two entities. Um, they call it a split, which is apparently a long-running indie punk tradition. It's where two bands get together and um, contribute a song apiece. Here, instead of 12 songs, we got 6 songs, 6 mini games. So, Team Laserbeam is the developer who made the game. The Super Weeks are the band who provided the music. Worth noting, we will not be playing any music because we do not wish to deal with the ramifications of that.
Copyright sucks.
I'm like, I understand. I would understand if the band doesn't have a problem with that. The copyright bots don't always understand these things.
Indeed.
Anyway, so running down the gamut of the other mini games, got number 2, Paper Person, which is a takeoff of Paperboy. In fact, it basically is Paperboy. That's kind of the thing about games from like the 80s. What you could build an entire game around now is basically a mini game in a larger game. Because I mean, it doesn't have exactly all the mechanics of Paperboy, but the Paper Person is basically Paperboy as you would remember it. Paperboy 1 specifically, because you're only delivering papers or sandwiches in this case to the left side of the neighborhood. Paperboy 2, which only released on the consoles, Super NES and Genesis, had the big innovation of delivering papers on the right side of the street. Like
Legasp.
the things you remember. Anyway, track 3 is Guitar Zero. Head to the mall, put on your dorky uniform, and sell some guitars. It's a basic rhythm game mechanic. Insert the arrows and fifth button as you see. And also worth noting that a lot of the mini games here do have interludes, like with Guitar Zero. This one is like you are talking to another employee, and the goal is to get through the dialogue as fast as possible. You even get an achievement if you complete the conversation before your break is over. Let's see. Track 4 is Tony Dork, which is a takeoff of Tony Hawk. Or at least it would purport to be, given the level of sophistication in the minigames. This is less Tony Hawk and more TNC Surf. I may be the only person who knows what that is. And I'd say that depresses me, but honestly, that game wasn't very good. I'm like, and it would be the skateboarding section. But this is much more side scrolly. Anyway, Ghost Step. Okay, this is where you put on your boots. In fact, like the reason why you're doing 3 mini games is you want to get some designer boots to go to the concert, a Super Weeks concert. Surprise, surprise. And so track 5 turns the game into QWOP. Now, if you're not familiar with QWOP, that's the thing where you do with the limbs. You know, the realistic.
The game where you have to control each joint separately.
Yeah, I mean it's not that elaborate, but you know.
Oh right, it's just each limb, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's more about moving forward than controlling each limb. It's still got that wonky physics things going on. And track 6, which I don't think qualifies but once again, if we're qualifying this as a mini game, return home after the greatest night of your life, fall asleep and dream. Like, yeah, and as the Steam page will let you know, this is a short game. You can complete in about 30 minutes. You're probably not going to guarantee to get all the achievements. In fact, there are some mini games that have contradictory achievements. You know, there are achievements for getting everything, but there are also achievements for getting the nothing. Or like the first mini game, there's an achievement for being respectful to your parent and for being sassy to your parent, and all sassy or reverential answers. Those are literally contradicting achievements. So clearly, there's a bit of replay value. Art style is definitely unique. A bit on the amateur side, but I think that's what they're going for. The music, I know they said that this is punk music. Honestly, it gave me more indie garage band vibes. More alternative than punk, but I'm not the greatest music critic in the world. So, but as far as, were they good tracks? Sure, I liked them well enough. Didn't think anything was particularly amazing. Also, one of the problems with maybe doing a game music collaboration is if I'm concentrating on a game, I'm not necessarily concentrating on the music. And another issue is like these are these are like full-fledged songs with lyrics to them that are singing about things. So once again, I'm not necessarily paying attention to what the band is singing about with what's going on screen. Maybe that's a subjective thing, but good. It's like, I get that they wanted the games and the music to complement each other perfectly, and I don't think that balance was quite achieved. Like, but this is not a spot where I'm really all that good at critiquing. I'll be honest, because also, how many of things like this exist? Anyway, pricing. So the game, base game will clock in at $7.99, and there's a special edition. Let me see what the DLC here is, or what the additions are. Worth noting, the version I reviewed was the base edition, so I did not get the special edition amenities. You can purchase these separately. It is $3.99. Anyway, the special edition extras are the special edition features access to the Teenage Blobazine expanded soundtrack, the Blobazine is a digital zine created by the bands and their friends. 28 color pages, lyrics to the Teenage Blob 6 tracks, Blob-inspired act from 12 of our most talented friends. Our most heartfelt and sincere thanks for your support. Splendid soundtrack, the live at Amaze versions of all the 6 Teenage Blob songs, and there's a future update that will make the live versions playable in-game. So as usual with these things, getting the special edition is your best bet. As far as if this game is worth $8, I'm like, I wish I could say yes. I really do. But honestly, I think the package is too shallow to justify $8. Like, if this were clocking in at $5 at most, I could give it a pretty easy recommendation. $8 is a little beyond what I'm prepared to recommend, given that I get that they want you to replay this game over and over, and maybe the music is good enough on its own to listen to, but the games, they just, like, they don't have enough substance for me to say, yeah, I want to go and play that again. And that's unfortunate. So, yeah, like, really, I think it's the gameplay that lets the things down here. Honestly, I would have preferred it if it were like a completely text-based, or maybe a walking simulator kind of thing. You know, something that better emphasized the collaboration than, you know, really shallow and boring mini games.
Yeah, I think a lot of music concept album games are like rhythm games to some degree or another.
Yeah, and it's got that here, but it also tries to, you know, and I get, like, you know, it could potentially work with a Tony Hawk alike, but and it works and it makes sense thematically with the QWOP, but they weren't still all that, like, they were all right, but I don't want to go back to them. You know, I found them okay. This was a thing. I'm done. You know, maybe this is a more subjective thing to the whole package, but, you know, I'm not playing an album. I'm playing a game. And I didn't find the game part of the game all that compelling. You know, unfortunate, but there it is. You know, slightly, you know, as a concept, pretty interesting, pretty solid. As a game, once again, it comes in under par. And, you know, not a thing I really wanted to say, but, you know, sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. And that'll about do it for Teenage Blob. And indeed, that'll about do it for the review session. So, coming up on the week ahead, let's see. We'll be having Rodrigo Schomburg of Rockhead Studios. They're from Brazil. They've done a whole bunch of games. We'll be highlighting a like, looks like a vertical platformer kind of dealy, Project Starlight, if I'm remembering correctly. Starlight Adventures. I was looking at the wrong thing there. We've got some other things here: Master of Words, Pixel Shaper, Big Bosses from Outer Space, Item Quest, and Ronaldinho Super Dash. They're a pretty mobile-centric developer, although Starlit Adventures is in the works for, like, the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Steam. I think they may already be out in the consoles, and the Steam version's the one being worked on right now. Anyway, we'll be talking about that on Wednesday. No Friday show this week. So until Wednesday, I shall wish you good gaming.